if any of you are in a situation like this, and it's not just women either. I mean,
It's
though
not. It's men,
I
women.
think it obviously is much more common with women, you know what I mean? But, it can happen with anyone. It doesn't matter. Um, but if you are in a situation where you feel like you're trapped and you're afraid or you're being threatened, like I was blackmailed multiple times into staying in an abusive situation, me not thinking it's blackmail, it's illegal. Like
It really
there
is,
could be
but like you
repercussions, but
didn't.
you're also not in a space. If you're with someone like that, you are not in contact with other people. You don't have a
No.
support group. The support group that you think that you have or that you maybe tried to create has been made toxic by this person who is completely running your entire existence. So when you are told what to think, what to wear, how to dress, that everything you do is
Who to
terrible and
hang
will
out
fail
with.
with. And if you get close with someone, one of the things that they love to do is tell you that you should have friends and that you should get close to people, because then they like to create toxicity between those people, because then you feel that you actually can't trust anyone but this person who is creating these situations that often aren't even real. The stories that would be spun about things that were, told to this person in confidence, or, just all these different situations created, and just every day for the most part being alone singularly with this person unless I was working on cam, still in the same home, and usually still being messaged by this person while I was working, while I was doing streams. There were times that I would have to like just keep my head above the camera frame and just like dance with my body, because I was just like crying or panicking and I couldn't like get my stuff together. So, I mean, if you're in that kind of situation, just know, like, I didn't think that I could get out of it. I thought that by leaving it, I would completely destroy everything that I had built, that I didn't even feel that I had built, because I was told that I had done nothing and that I was nothing. So I couldn't see any of the accomplishments that I had made. And every time that I felt positive about something, it would be knocked down, or there would be, it was a moving goalpost situation. So if you're in that, and that is the situation, it doesn't change unless there is real change shown consistently, because there's a lot of promises and things that they say that they will do. But as soon as you're not mad anymore and they can move on and divert, then it will just be back to the same situation.
Also, any person that's abusive to another person, and it's like a continual cycle. You know, like when there's the makeup part, the like the person that did the wrong to the other person that's
Yep.
the victim. You know how they always go, I realize I fucked up. Never again. And it's always like a constant, like, after the fact, they really fucked up or hurt that person.
Hmm.
And then so the other person's like, I really think they're going to change.
But usually what you'll find in that situation, I don't know if this was the same for you. What I
Never.
what I found is I wouldn't get the apology until I had already groveled for it.
Oh no, it was me getting really physically hurt.
I'm sorry.
Like, it was after I got physically hurt.
No, no, no. I'm saying even then, um, it would be like with the physical, right? It would end up being, because usually when very, very drunk, and then he would pretend that he didn't remember what happened,
Yeah, this guy didn't drink
and
and
then
he
he
would
would
black
blame
out.
me
Yeah.
for instigating something, so I must have given him a reason to do so. So then I would have to apologize, and only after we went through this multi-hour, after my face is bruised or my jaw is swollen or I'm picking glass out of my back, and only then would I get the apology and the promise that it would never happen again.
This was not
And
the
then
same
when you
because
when
this
you
was sober. Only
okay.
weed. And this guy was a complete asshole unless he was completely high as fuck.
Mhm.
And he was still not nice. And then he would still like abuse. And then like would do the physical harm. And then once I'm like literally crying because I had never been physically harmed in my life, like
Yeah.
either of any of us, right? Neither of any of us.
Everyone, I
And
feel
then
like.
he realized, wow, I really just like hurt someone physically and they're bleeding now. And then realized, like, I really crossed the line of probably my human instincts and
Yeah.
hurt someone that's probably so like deserving of what they just got.
Yeah. But did he continue it?
Always.
See, that's what I'm saying though. It's like the apology isn't real. It's like
Never
it's just the
real.
bait. So no matter like what situation it is, like whether and some people and it got to the point with my ex that it was like not every time was drunk,
You need to run.
but it got to a point of like when is he not?
Also, you need to run.
If if your brain can kind of know because it was always there and I always would think like this will be the time that it changes. But every time, like after the first couple times, I had the voice and it was like, it's not going to change.
My
But
voice
I
was
would just
saying
smile and
like you
go
need
along
to
with it.
go and like run
I know, but
somehow.
that's what my brain said, and I wouldn't listen to it because it would just be like, it's not going to
Say
change. It's not going to change. It's going to keep being the same, and it's going to get worse. Like go. But if it
scary
was like I felt like I could never find an opportunity to do so, and I honestly didn't feel like I had anything other than this
without
person.
and getting the family involved, right? Our real family.
Yeah, I
Because I
mean,
wasn't gonna get my family involved. I've never told any of them
no.
until it was like later on.
And
You know,
I didn't have a great relationship with my family. Like
say
it's improved, you know, with aspects now, but like it wasn't at the time. It was, you know, not awesome. And then you also have someone who, you know, if you think that they're going to do that whole toxicity thing with your friends, they're definitely going to do it with your family. Like,
oh
and they
my,
build that resentment because it's like, well,
your
when you don't
family
get the
hated that
calls,
person, right?
yeah,
My family hated that person too from the get go. So
yeah,
it's not much different. It was more like us just dealing with like someone who was really like probably the worst person in the human earth for us.
mm-hmm,
And then we finally got out of it,
yeah,
both of us, which is the best thing. And we find each other on the same planet somehow, some way,
I know,
and like love to like fucking vibe and
mm-hmm,
chill and do the
because there's so
craziest
much to relate
things.
to.
And also like pour our heart and soul into like things like this and to
Mm-hmm,
you guys because we really feel the love right back and thank you.
yeah.
And this is straight up real talk.
Yeah.
So
And
thank
it's,
you.
and I thank you too, because it's one of those things that, like, when you're in that, you feel like you're the only one who's ever experienced it. And it's super amazing to know that you're not alone in how you're feeling. Even if someone isn't feeling that now, they could have felt it, they can relate to it. Like,
Hmm.
maybe it's not even someone that you know, but it's someone that you could be introduced to. That it's someone that you haven't met yet.
That's the part of
And
life.
that's
Like it's so
life
cool.
is just a huge collection of experiences, good
And
and
if you,
bad, and finding different people who have had correlating experiences that you can relate to on a level that builds healing.
yeah, what you just said, you could always meet. This is the beautiful thing. It like gave me tingles. What you just said was you don't even know if it's someone you're gonna meet. You guys, if you feel like right now, like you don't have that support system today, you don't know and don't write the story about tomorrow because
Because
you
you don't
might.
know. It's like we were talking about that last episode where your brain, like with the trauma, goes to predictions based on what's happening, and you're trying to predict based on what you know in the moment of what will happen. I did that all the time because I would sit there and think like, if I left, what would I do? How would it go? And all I could think of was, you are a piece of shit. You can't do anything. You have no creative talent. You could do nothing without this person. You like, and it's the rhetoric that keeps going over and over and over. And it's just like this panic. And so you can't see a different avenue until you are out of that situation. And even when you're out of that situation, it's not like you have a lot more lessons to learn, but they're ones that you get to recognize a lot quicker because you're no longer in that one tied down to it. You know what I mean? So it's so hard. And if you don't have a support system, it is even harder, but
Yes.
you can do it and you will find people who support you, and you will lose
And let's
people
talk
who
about
support you.
ways that
You will
supported
find
us.
and lose people, but everyone that comes into your life for a reason. Everyone has a purpose on the journey of your life, whatever it is. And you might not figure it out tomorrow. You might not figure it out until 10 years from now, but you figure it out because the only thing that you can do is keep going. So, you know, if the situation you're in, like someone said to me before, like it was like I was describing one of the fights, one of one of the situations, and she said, "Well, you have the choice that you can, you know, you've told me the same thing like X amount of times. I know that you're going to keep telling me these same things. So, do you want to live in this absolutely forever for the rest of your life?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to do something about it? And that's when I started actually thinking about it. Because I was like, at the time, I was felt like maybe I did have a support system. Maybe, I could make that thing happen. And it only takes, it's like that. I talked about it with Alex Cole once on an episode. I think it was called The Click Moment. I might be episode 36. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on
Damn, that would be really good if you got that. I'd be like, she
But
probably did.
It's called like the click moment because it is like that moment, and we all have them with many different things. It's not just traumatic situations. It's maybe figuring out a new idea that you have or something new that you want to do or some place that you want to go. But it is the moment that for whatever reason, all of your experiences in that one moment, and you do it, and and that's the turning point. And we have so many of those within our life, and it's interesting to know that it's still out there. So if you're in that moment, it doesn't have to last forever, and you can have a click moment, and it's coming at some point. And maybe this will be it.
Did you
and
write
maybe not.
this?
What?
The click moment?
I wrote it into a title.
I think that's the name. And stop doing that.
What? This.
Relax.
So yeah.
Smoke your vape,
I was just cracking my finger knuckles.
Love her.
My finger knuckles.
Fucking love her. The click moment. I think if you think this is something we should probably expand on, you guys. And I'm talking to y'all.
That would be something amazing. Okay.
Could you guys give us a click moment?
Yes. Call 702-900-6446. You don't have to share your name.
You don't have to share anonymous.
You could also email twndpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you because I feel like
we're getting deep here. So that's why I just snapped on my bestie right now.
I've done this. You've done this. We've had so many guests who have shared their click moments. I mean, we haven't really
I could go deeper into my click moments if you guys come in with some.
Yeah, but we shared a lot. And so if you have a moment that you'd like to share, I think that...
Or questions you want to ask.
Or questions you want to ask, but moments that you want to share, because I feel like that really does help people feel like they're not alone in things.
And
I
heal.
remember that's one of the reasons that I thought podcasting was so cool, because I started listening to them during the pandemic. It wasn't something that I listened to before. And it was comedian podcasts and stuff, but I felt like so much relation and just sitting in on someone's conversation and finding that you relate to things that they're talking about. And sometimes those things do get deep, and sometimes it's healed with humor, and sometimes it's just funny. But there are things that you're like, oh, these things that I like, these things that I relate to, there are other people out there who feel the same, or maybe if they don't feel the same, they have a different opinion that I find interesting.
Or they learn.
Or I learn, or whatever. And I find that
we
fascinating.
always learn.
And so if you guys want to share your click moment, maybe it would help somebody else who listens who might be going through the same thing. Maybe it'll even help us. Who knows? So if you guys want to share, that'd be super awesome.
And just do it.